A great mentor once told me that people want what you've earned, but not what you've learned, and very few are willing to make the sacrifice. I've been speaking professionally since I was 16 years old, and by professionally I mean being paid for what you do and being a student of your craft. I can remember a time when I was speaking at a university, and when I finished, a mother came up to me and asked if I would sit down with her son because he was making a lot of mistakes and needed guidance. I agreed. I told him that all I could give him was my story because that's all that I have. He asked about my motivation. I told him that the drive came from growing up in poverty in Kentucky. People would never choose poverty, but in many ways, poverty, at least for me, was a blessing. It created the hunger. He asked about my passion for education. I told him how my parents were illiterate, how they couldn't read or write, and so their lives were hindered for a lack of knowledge. He asked about my work ethic. I told him about my dad, the sanitation worker who hauled barrels of trash every day just to put food on the table, even after he was stricken with cancer. He asked about adversity. I told him about the foster homes, about the struggles, about the divine plan that I believe exists for all of us. He asked about discipline. I told him about my time as a combat engineer in the United States Air Force. He asked about boldness and confidence. I told him about my service as a police officer, the late nights and early mornings, the refusal to quit. He asked about my speaking career, and then I told him about the square carpet in my living room, where I spend hours practicing my craft, and how that's opened the door to speak to companies, to train and develop leaders around the world, and to push people to achieve their maximum potential. But her son didn't want any of what I had learned. He wanted my secret, a quick fix. I didn't have one, but I told him that there's always a little part of me that's back on that front porch in Kentucky, grinding, making the climb. And if it's possible for me, it's possible for you. My name is David Carter, and I don't give lectures. I give experiences.